Happy CCL Wednesday, everybody. It's the Concacaf Champions League semifinal leg one in Seattle at Lumen Field. Sounders NYCFC. We're here watching it along with you on YouTube. Tudiene, or FS2, I believe, is your channel for this one. Andrew Wiebe, Calen Carr, Matt Doyle, Charlie Davies. It's funny, we do these sometimes for these CCL nights in private. We have a little Zoom going on, get together, catch up, talk some trash, make some jokes, commiserate, experience misery together. There's no misery tonight.
It's to hide the tears. No, don't show your face.
Exactly.
Hide the tears.
Just share it together, man. Everybody just let it, it's like it's a little bit of a support group. We need those sometimes for CONCACAF Champions League. We're going to be here to watch with you. That's what this is about. We're going to be here for leg 2 as well. At Red Bull Arena, could make a not going to at Red Bull Arena, leg 2 for NYCFC, but if they have a lead, they won't care where that thing's at. And whoever wins is going to take on the winner of Pumas Cruz Azul. Pumas with a 2-1 win, went up 2-0 on Cruz Azul last night in the other semifinal. Juan Dineno, 2 goals. He's been a killer in this competition. Absolutely helped down the Revs, of course. Wearing my Revs jersey, just R.I.P. Chuck. Just bury me in it. CCL style, just bury me in it. I feel good. Just put me in the ground 90 minutes later. How are we feeling tonight, guys?
Who's up?
I don't know, man. Nobody's feeling it, apparently.
It's weird. No, it's weird for all the reasons you said, Weeby. Like, usually there's this existential dread that comes with the CCL nights. Part of, being a fan of this league for a long time is suffering through some really rough nights, like the one you were just talking about the Revs had, a couple of weeks ago. It's not going to happen that way tonight, because one way or another, an MLS team is going to advance. So you caught between, like, okay, which team do you think has the best chance of winning this thing, being the first MLS team through the tape? And like, there's no wrong answer. Seattle and NYCFC probably have the 2 best rosters in the league. And now, granted, NYCFC haven't been playing as well to start the season. Seattle haven't really been great either. But it's still, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I can just sit and watch and enjoy a soccer game, and not, like, especially on the heels of World Cup qualifying as well. There's, like, no drama to this for me. So I'm just going to kick back and pour up and enjoy.
I think that's the part to me that does feel good, is like the 2 teams that are at this point belong here. And I think whoever will advance between this matchup will be deserving and have a real chance. And I think that's something that you got to feel good about. I mean, the Sounders, I thought, were one of the best teams throughout a lot of the season last year, but then really kind of fell on their face at home against a Real Salt Lake side that, credit to them, but got through without getting a shot. And, that was sort of a crazy one, super disappointing for a team that generally has not fallen flat, especially in knockout situations in the past. And then NYCFC, I think, really kind of came on late. Excellent performance. Tati throughout the biggest moments, and then Sean Johnson in the final coming up with those big penalty saves. So I think both these teams, sometimes you get a little awkwardness of a team that, especially over the last couple of years, where you get in because of all kinds of random reasons, or it's been roster turnover and it doesn't quite look the same as when you qualified for it. But I think both these teams should be back, it looks like, from the Sounders starting lineup too. They're getting healthy, and some of their available guys they've been trying to get into lineup. And I think Nuhu is the one, maybe big exception to that, but they seem to be in good shape for one of the rare times so far earlier in this year, and at the right time.
Pull out right now. Let us know what you think. Seattle fans obviously very much online right now. I want to know 80%. I put one out on my Twitter too, and it's like 75% Sounders. So they are jacked up for this game, ready to go at Lumen Field. Charlie, let's bring you in right now. Prince explained the meaning of purple rain as when there's blood in the sky, red and blue equals purple. How would you explain the fit tonight, which is just wonderful, sir? What kind of collar are we working with there? Is that like a Is there a color? I can't tell.
Yeah, there's a little it's just comfort. All right, that's what it comes down to. Vibrant comfort. It's a soothing color.
You got something. Vibrant comfort. You got a tagline there for some sort of loungewear.
Exactly.
You're onto something.
I'm excited.
Call it Stanky Leg, the brand.
Hey, there you go. I'm excited to see these two teams play for the biggest trophy in CONCACAF, because MLS has deserved, I think, a team to go to the Club World Cup. And it finally, to me, seems that whoever wins this match, given that they're healthy going into the final, will get it done. And so, and I'm a firm believer of that, especially after seeing the other team. I've seen Pumas, right? I've seen them home and away, and it seems like they're two different teams when they play home versus away. And we've seen Cruz Azul, and I think they're more of a, it's not that they have many big time stars. It's a solid group. They play well together. Both of them, I think, at times can turn it on. And I think when you look at Seattle and New York City FC, they have some more game changers. And I think it's all about that experience, knowing how to handle playing on the road when you're playing some of these Liga MX teams. But for me, these are the two teams. These are the two teams you want representing the MLS. And I'm excited to see who's going to take the big result today.
Anders, I need you to pull back up the Jimmy Madronda photo before we go to lineups, and we'll get there in just a second. But NHRA is still just ruling my FS1 screen, so we'll have to wait until they get on Dragon until we get to the game here. Jimmy Madronda's not starting tonight, Charlie. Is this an acceptable fit for a non-starter? It's wonderful. I commend him for it. What do you think about this? He walks into the locker room. What are you saying?
I'm saying well done. There are. See, he's been around the block, so he gets the pass because he's experienced. He's older.
Yeah, well, he's got the jewelry. Yeah. Really, I think, ups it to a different level as well.
He's feeling himself.
To be perfectly honest,
he's feeling himself.
But if Obed Vargas had been walking in that, he'd be in trouble.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, just want to make sure.
All right, let's get to the Seattle Sounders lineup. It is a first choice lineup in most ways. Depends on how you describe Jackson Reagan these days. He's my first choice every day of the week. Back, Stephen Fry, Alex Roldan at right back, Reagan, Arriaga, Rowe on the back line at left back. That's that Nuhu mentioned from before. João Paulo and Rusnak, Christian Roldan, Ladero, Morris, Rui Diaz back in the starting lineup. That is the big news from the starting 11 from Brian Schmetzer. I believe the quote from Anders was, "Dude, it's over. This front six, completely effing absurd." What do you think, Doyle, about the return of Rui Diaz and the team that we've got here from Brian Schmetzer?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out, because the first 60 minutes this weekend against Minnesota, Seattle looked really good, and they didn't have Rui Diaz for most of that, but like the rest of those pieces were in place. And specifically, a lot of the good stuff that they were doing was coming out of that central midfield pairing of Rusnak deeper as a number 8 and João Paulo. They were, I think they had more freedom to move with and without the ball. And they were playing the type of soccer that Seattle, the Sounders break that out like 4 or 5 times a year. They're mostly a sit and counter team, but they weren't that, and it looked really good. So the question I have, one is can NYCFC stop that? Can NYCFC without Maxi Morales, not the same team, but can NYCFC like put the clamps on that is one, and then two is if they don't, what kind of looks does it lead to for Raul Rui Diaz? Because if he starts finding chances in and around the 18, Sean Johnson better get himself on a heater real quick, because like Seattle they were moving the ball so well this weekend, and Ruiz just thrives in situations like that.
By the way, American guy in the chat right now, Charlie, says you look like Barney the dinosaur.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Purple is the color of the Roman Imperium. Okay, he looks like a Caesar.
Whoa.
Let's go.
Whoa. So
hey, I used to rock with Barney back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will cop to some Barney in my time as well. Let's get to NYCFC. Charlie, give me your thoughts on what we've got here from NYCFC other than boo the lineup graphic list. Matt Doyle's Ottoman is here in the live stream with us and cannot say more good things about his efforts to keep teams honest with their lineup lists here. So Sean Johnson is in goal. Thiago Martins is a center back. Alexander Collins is a center back. Okay, so now we're skipping around a little bit. D-mid is Morales, and then one of the wingers is Thiago Andrade, and Castellanos up top. Abinson at left back. Santi Rodriguez is your 10 because Maxi is not in this team at all, Charlie. Tavon Gray is back at right back, and you have Tyus Magno and Keaton Parks, who I love just going by Keaton. What do you think of the team?
It's a strong team. And I think one thing you have to love about New York City FC is their depth, especially in the attacking phase of the game. They're a strong team. I mean, and Tati Castellanos hasn't got going this year. I mean, he's still working his way back up after, coming off of such a high last year. So he's a player you got to watch out for. When he gets comfortable and he gets into a rhythm, I mean, this team is capable of anything. I think Thiago Martins is still adjusting to this back line because Maxime Chanot, there is just that continuity between everybody. And there's a good understanding. When you have your two center backs who are just so in tune with each other, it's really hard to break them down and catch them out of position. Now there's a new player in the mix. So I think they're still trying to come to grips with understanding how he plays and the tendencies of the players around him. But regardless, this is a strong team. And if you look at their last result against Toronto FC, they had a penalty. That changed the game. They lost, but that would have changed the game completely. So I still think this team is confident, even though they haven't been sharp for the past 3 games.
Anybody else have Brittany Force in their in this last drag race here? I really felt, going for a 12th win. It's a big dub for Brittany Force. Really, really good stuff from her on the NHRA drag racing circuit. We're waiting for the game to start, just like you are. We're on FS1. We're gonna try to time this thing out at some point. We have all sorts of struggles because Doyle has cable to all be on the same page, and oftentimes it's just like it's a cascade of reactions. One after the other, and usually I'm on the back end of that, knowing what happens before it happens. So we're going to try to hit pause and all sync up. If you would like to do that with us, cool. If you'd like to spoil it in the comments on YouTube, yeah, fine. I'll be watching those too, so you can still spoil if you'd like to. Okay. Winner. What's the result here, Calen? What do you feel in your gut? It started. The broadcast has started. We got this beautiful Lumen Field shot, Space Needle. Let's go.
You're already ahead of me.
Am I? In this 4-man drag race, I'm out front, baby. Let's go.
Nice. Good transition there. You're even transitioning between broadcasts. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
I think if I had to pick tonight, I think the Sounders at home, but I do think it will be tight. I think it'll be really tight, and I actually expect the Sounders to maybe take more of a defensive posture and sit back a little bit, allow NYCFC to get a little bit more of the ball, and then try and hit on the counter through Jordan Morris and getting behind in transition. So I think it's going to be a close one. I think there's going to be a lot to play for in leg 2. And if it is an interesting wrinkle where I think the Sounders team has a little bit more experience in these like home and away 2-leg series that I'm very fond of from my past days, but also I do love the format of just like go for it, one game, make it happen. But I think because of the 2-leg system, it's going to be a little bit more cagey tonight because it's going to be tough for either team, I think, to take big risks and leave yourself exposed.
Who do you want to go through? Like, we're talking about Club World Cup. Who do we think has the best chance? Who would you want to see represent MLS on that stage? Does it matter? Is there one
team?
You're
getting greedy, Wiebe. No, I don't care.
You're getting so greedy.
I'm just saying, hey, this is like we're gonna be here for 2 hours. Like,
we know where Anders stands, but
yeah, I was gonna say there's arguments for both teams, right? One is you want NYCFC to go through because it would cause Anders pain, and that's important.
That is important.
To me, right?
Yeah. Unhinged group chat, just mute that thing, like, and just go to bed and just let it ping, 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 ping all through the night. Yeah. No, that.
Also, the other thing to consider for NYCFC is that the entire world of soccer would find it hilarious as hell if Man City was not the first city football group club to punch their ticket to a Club World Cup, because we know that they've been spending obscene amounts of money on Man City for more than a decade now, and they have played some amazing soccer, and they have yet to win the UEFA Champions League. So if NYCFC get it done first, that's hilarious to me. Like, that is objectively hilarious. So there's a couple of good arguments for NYCFC. The best argument for Seattle is that, I mean, the world needs to be introduced to Brian Schmetzer representing the Sounders, MLS, and the United States of America at the Club World Cup, so they could understand what a proper football man is. So both teams have really strong arguments. But what puts me over the top is the pain that Anders will experience if the Sounders choke.
This is a great approach.
Yeah. We should put a poll up. Like, what do you, instead of
not my first rodeo?
What are you rooting for? Anders' joy or Anders' pain? Which one would you like the most? Akira, by the way, hitting up Charlie with some love for the purple, and Morgan Tenza, who we know well. Doyle showing his age with the cable and the hat. Also, I saw the yawn a little earlier, Doyle.
Oh,
just
no.
A big yawn. That's what's up with that 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff.
Man.
We'll be back on extra time tomorrow, by the way, to do a full post-game wrap of this. We'll have a little bit for you after the game, but we'll get to that when it comes. I'm only getting ahead of myself talking Club World Cup as it stands right now. 4 teams in MLS history have gone to a final. LAFC most recently lost. Toronto FC lost. Montreal Impact lost. RSL lost. But I believe this is our time. And the best part about it is we're guaranteed to at least be there. We don't always get that. Who are you watching tonight, guys? What's the one player on the field you're going to watch the closest? Let's start with you, Charlie.
You know me, I'm going for my strikers.
So it's Rui Diaz then, huh?
Yeah, it's got to be Rui Diaz, although I'm a big fan of Castellanos. So I'm going to go with 2 players. So it's Castellanos and Rui Diaz.
Look at that. Both 9s are off the board. We give it to Charlie. It just takes all the 9s off the board. Who are you watching, Calen? What are you thinking about today?
I'm probably going to watch João Paulo the closest. I think when you think of players that are just in top form, had an amazing goal over the last weekend, and then just his ability to kind of, like, as I mentioned, his range of passing, his vision. He can do so many different things for this team, and I think in this case, especially if they're going to defend, as I think they will, and then look to really get out in the break, that those sort of like long switches or entry balls, especially looking to find Jordan Morris. But I am interested to watch the Seattle team overall, just because it's going to be a little bit tough because they haven't had a lot of continuity. So Ladero hasn't had a ton of minutes. Rui Diaz hasn't had a ton of minutes. I think both just got about 45 in this last game. Mm-hmm. So look, the quality is there, but some of that rhythm might be a little bit off. I think Rui Diaz had some good looks, but that he would normally score in, I think, this last match. So can he kind of like get that sharpness back quickly and make the most of those chances when they come?
All right. We got somebody saying that somebody needs Doyle's look as an author, which that's very fitting there. We're about to kick off, so let's try to sync up here. I don't know where you guys are at. We have the slow zoom on the center circle going right now.
I'm with you.
So I'll let you know when mine hits kick. Maybe some other people have already seen it. Kick right there.
I'm 10 seconds in.
All right. Hit pause for 10 seconds. I'm at 5, 6.
My screen's frozen.
I'm with you. I'm exactly with you, Wiebe.
Nice. Charlie and I.
All right. What number are you?
15 seconds. 16, 17. Sean John, very stoic, bringing the ball out.
Yes.
For a goal kick. Peering upfield. Where will I kick it? Oh, I'll go short. Perfection. 26
I might need
seconds.
you guys to pause. I might need you to pause.
Hit the
I
live
can't go
button.
forward.
Hit the live button. Let's see what you got.
23, 24, 25.
All right, you're about 15 behind.
Yeah.
All right.
That's tough.
We got to sync it to Calen.
Yeah, we got to sync it to Calen.
This is a
I'm
test
hitting
of character
pause.
to see if you wait for
Tell me when
yeah.
you're at 46, Calen. Tell me when you're at 46.
Okay. We're just crossing 40, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46.
All right, synced up. Let's go.
All right.
That was less of a train wreck than I expected to be.
By the way, I thought of another reason to root for the Sounders.
Okay.
Here we go.
So we can make it 2-2. It would kill US MNT Twitter to see Christian Roldan and Jordan Morris at the Club World Cup. It would absolutely murder some of those anonymous trolls. So that's a good reason to root for the Sounders.
There you go. How do you think this game is going to look? Doyle, like what do you think we're going to see from these teams?
Well, it's going to look weird from NYCFC because, and we kind of buried the lead here. There's no Maxi Morales. We don't know why, whether it's injury or whether, health and safety protocols, but like he's been not necessarily their most important player for half a decade. And it's obviously his ability to hit the last pass, but it's also his ability to like organize and dictate tempo and sort of create pockets of space for everyone on the field. And that is part of why NYCFC have been, the most ball dominant team in the league for years and years. They have a number 10 like that who does the number 10 stuff, but also does like number 8 style organizing stuff. Without him, can NYCFC be as comfortable and as devastating using the ball, creating, chances out of possession? I doubt it. And so I still think NYCFC are going to try to be themselves and try to have some of the ball, but it wouldn't shock me if 15 or 20 minutes into this one, they say, you know what, we're going to be a little bit more cagey. We're going to come out of here, we're going to defend deep and try to come out of here 0-0 or 1-1. And we'll worry about playing with the ball next week at Red Bull Arena.
They have one Tati Castellanos pressure on Jackson Reagan so far, forcing him to pass it back to the goalkeeper. We'll just keep track of those tonight. How many times Tati decides that's his target to try to put under pressure and see if they can turn the ball over. If you want to watch the game, FS1 to the end. Again, we are about 2:55 here. I don't know if we have it up. Yeah, there we go. Just slightly behind. Good header good ball to the back post. Thiago Andrade just missed it. Just missed it there. This truly is weird because normally this is a Liga MX matchup, and I'm just sort of like taking deep breaths every time the ball crosses midfield, and just like, is this the time? It's got to be now. That's what we're gonna get scored on. Everything is gravy, man. Let's see, away goal opportunities for NYCFC here. Sounders at home. Does early form matter, Calen, in a game like this? Do you think?
Like how you start?
Yeah.
I think always.
To the season. Because, Brian Schmetzer before this game was like, hey, everybody's trying to say that NYCFC started slow. Like, throw that out. Like, I don't think that really matters.
I don't know. I don't want to go full Bruce on you here, but I do think it is difficult to go straight into the season like this, especially when you played late into the season. And you turn around and then you start playing again. Even when I saw some of the mistakes, or even when I mentioned the sharpness, the lack of fitness from guys, it can play a factor. So I think it is a little bit difficult. I think for the Sounders guys, I'm a little less worried. They just have so much experience. So when you bring in a Rui Diaz, you bring in a Ladero, it's not like I think the more experience you get, I would say that sort of logic works better for a guy like Reagan, where you're new in a big match like this. You haven't played a ton of minutes in this situation. Those are the players that I think, especially early, you want to get a couple good touches in and get your confidence going.
What do you want to see from Rui Diaz, Charlie, in his first start?
For me, it's just his movement. That's how you know when Rui Diaz is feeling good and he's not worried about health, is just his movement. And then when he does get the ball, just be simple, sharp, take your first touch, get that settled, and then get it off your foot and get in the box.
Ben Bear, are we surprised Thiago got the start considering his performance in the last CCL match?
No. I think as a manager too, you want to give confidence to players, especially at this stage in the season when you have the rest of MLS. You know that he could play a big role with just his quality. He has something different than a lot of the players on that team, just that burst of pace and acceleration. He's one of those like X factor players who could really develop into something special. So I'm not surprised at all. And another thing I'm looking at is if you're playing against a young center back, and I've done this in my career, you target him and it's trying to figure out what gets under his skin. Where do you think he's going to start to feel the pressure? Is it if you're running at him 1v1, can you get him to take a bad touch? Can you take him to make a bad decision and see if that will cause him to spiral? So I'm interested to see what Tati is up to for the rest of the first half.
Well, Charlie Davies just out here on the field, just trying to take people to their dark place. It's like,
yeah,
what's the saddest and most uncomfortable I can make you?
Don't let them get comfy. I like it.
How can I inspire a little trip to? A little bit of a slow start, a little cagey here. Both teams trying to get the foot on the ball, figure things out.
What are you looking for, Wiebe?
Got an early goal. Just a little bit of, I think just a little bit something to just raise the stakes immediately. It's a semifinal. Both these teams want to go to the final, but sometimes in these first legs, you see teams really, really just feel it out for long periods. Not going to take many risks with the runs they put in. Not going to take risks with the balls, their positioning. I just want to see these guys forced into a place where the pace has to jump and people have to take chances. That's what I want. That's what I want from a 10 p.m. game on a Wednesday night.
If that were the case, though, who would you want to score first?
Probably NYCFC.
It'll open up. Yeah,
probably NYCFC. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It also lines up well with the Anders Payne thing too, right?
Yes, that's very good synergy for the group chat from Anders just getting out of control. That would be very nice. I haven't seen the Jordan Morris shaved head yet. I guess he's in the channel here.
Here we go.
Is it? It's not shaved.
Ooh, it's a good looking ball,
but it's low.
It is. He took it off. Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a little fade.
Yeah, he does have the.
It's a baby fade.
I need to find his barber in Kansas City. They're not able to pull that off. He loves the outside of the right boot, like.
Mm-hmm.
Little on the ground, a little bit of curl across the box ball. That's like his favorite. Oh.
It's been pretty back and forth.
Yeah, you know what? Trying to decide based on reactions. Am I behind, or am I like?
I think we're pretty close. I don't want to mess with it.
You see the clock. You see the clock at the top. That looks good on mine. 8:53. Yeah, we're pretty synced up there. Big change. I think Ronnie Doyle is going to the same barber as Jordan Morris. Got it cleaned up here.
That's a good run.
I mean, that's the other thing I want to see is just U.S. national team fringe players. And I think certainly you'd call Christian Roldan a fringe player. And Morris is definitely, I think, on the fringe when it comes to the 23 for the World Cup. I want to see them perform. I want to make them, I want them to make it very hard for Greg Berhalter to say no, just for my own personal enjoyment of watching them in MLS, but also to have the best possible options for the U.S. come November. Ooh, this is some serious chances. Is from Ben, who's just spamming us here. Is Alexander Kynes the most underrated player in MLS? He might be the most underrated center back.
Yeah, he's really good. I think, what did we have him on? Third team best 11, second team best 11 last year? We did 5 best 11s.
Yeah, we did 5, which, the thing about doing 5 best 11s is it makes it a lot harder to remember all the best 11s. Like, if you just have one, pretty straightforward when it comes to recalling that. When you have 5, a little bit more difficult. Yeah, he's up there. Who's the most underrated player outside of Collins in this game right now? I feel like Roldan has gone.
It's still Christian. Yeah, it's still.
He's gone from
Roldan.
super underrated.
I'd say Alex Roldan.
Also underrated, yeah.
I feel like if we saw more of what we saw from Santi Rodriguez in the playoffs recently, then he might be that guy as far as like young attacking prospects in MLS that people don't quite talk about enough.
But that's the thing. Like, if he started doing
correct,
that, people would talk about him.
Andrade would be in the same book, and so would Tyus Magno. Although Tyus Magno, I think, has really started to come into his own a little bit.
Yeah, Tyus Magno. Like, when I think about the 22 under 22 list for this year, like he's like a top tier guy. He's a guy who could win it, right? Like it wouldn't shock me at all if he blew up and had 14 goals and 7 assists this season. He's that type of talent as a 19-year-old.
Is he the next Tati? Like, is the center back transition coming for him, or
you mean center forward?
So yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't think so. I think he's like Tati makes really good goal scoring runs from wherever he is, and I'm not sure I've seen that and the level of energy and the willingness to fight center backs from Tyus Magno. I think he's just a little bit more comfortable on the wings, but things can change. I didn't think Tati was a center forward when he got here either, and he certainly didn't finish like one.
You see a picture of Schmetzer on the bench with the legs crossed. Do we all cross our legs like that now as men older than 30? I find that when I hit 30, I did the little leg cross, the little resting leg cross. Like, I feel like that's a rite of passage. Just throwing it out there.
Wiebe, that was out loud. That was the stuff you just said was out loud. I don't know if you knew that.
I did. Yeah, okay. I was aware. Just checking in to see if anybody else is experiencing life in the same way that I am. It's like one day I would never have ever crossed my legs, and the next day I was like, every time I sit down, I cross my legs. Like, what happened here?
I'm trying to sell it. I have nowhere to go on.
Yeah, you just let it.
Yes, and that.
Yeah, just let it just settle into your being.
Okay.
Look under. Yeah, you know what? Next time you sit down on a couch, just ask yourself, did I unconsciously sit this way? What does Brian Schmetzer write in his notebook? That's a question we have here from our own Jonathan Siegel. What do you think coaches write in there? Like, if you were a coach, what would you be writing in your notebook, Charlie? Whack. Just whack. Just name whack.
just possible adjustments I need to make in the second half. If I see maybe a player playing higher than I anticipated, or them forcing us in a certain direction or pressing us in a certain manner, so that I can bring that up at halftime of saying, hey, here are some ideas how we can break this press, or here's a couple of ideas how we can break them down if they're sitting in a low block. But I'm sure it's just taking these snapshots throughout the game and jotting them down so you don't forget come halftime.
Can I give you my take on this? So when I played for Chicago, we had Juan Carlos Osorio was the coach, and he was like famous for writing everything down.
Oh yeah.
And I was always like so curious what this dude was writing, because it was like furious notes, So I was coaching a kids team in Chicago at the time, like under 13 boys, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it out there and like I need a notebook. And sometimes I'd write down like good things, kind of like what Chuck is saying, where you'd like write down, I would write down like good moments that had worked so I could make sure to highlight them at halftime or things like that. But I also found it just makes you look smart. It just makes you look good. So like when the parents looked over and they saw me like taking notes, it's like,
oh yeah,
like when the teacher looks over and you're like, oh,
I gotta write this down.
Yeah, you gotta get your notebook
really good right here.
You know, the teacher looks over and you're just like, you might not actually be writing anything.
Yeah. Don't forget the orange slices next time.
Yeah. It's just, even if, you know, it might have some practical purposes, but it definitely works even just for perception.
Yeah. Sunny D more popular than the Capri Suns.
I never found that Osorio notebook either. I'd like to get
I would like to know if he saves all of his, like, or if he has to, right? Like,
yeah, it's like an archive.
Yeah, go back into, to look at a match from the past and be like, what was I thinking when we got mauled by Chile
the 1-2
in Copa America?
This is good.
Top of the box. Oh, unders.
This is a golazo.
This is beautiful soccer.
Wow.
I mean,
Albert Rusnak, right-footed.
No, it starts with the Kellen Rose laser switch.
That was so
and
good.
And the one-touch pass from Roldan. And the 1-2 was
and
on.
I thought Roldan missed his brother, right? We got the replay right
here. It's on.
The run Alex
he
Roldan
stays on.
makes.
It's a perfect run.
Absolutely on. Yeah. That is so nice.
The calmness and the timing from Morris to let the ball drop and time that pass perfectly. And then Rusnak taking it first time off the hop.
That is gorgeous.
So good. That's so good.
Wow.
We have a 1-0. 1-0 Seattle. It's not an away goal, but it's big.
That's one of the better team goals I've seen in a little while. That was nice.
That was.
Is that Rusnak's first? I want to say it is.
That is. Yeah,
that's first for the club.
Yeah, he kissed.
He had one that got called back, maybe.
I saw him going like this under.
Did he? He kissed the badge?
I know.
Oh, man.
So here's the thing. He's playing as a number 8 tonight. He played there this weekend.
Yep.
He's never been a number 8, right? When he was RSL, he was either a 10 or sometimes a playmaking winger. But like when Ladero's out there, you got to get him on the field. He's a DP. You got to get him on the field. They tried earlier this season to play him on the wing with Ladero as a 10, dropping Christian Roldan back to a number 8. It didn't really work, man. Rusnak does not stretch the field. He doesn't make the types of, penetrating runs that off the ball work that Roldan is so good at. So Brian Schmetzer's kind of taking a defensive risk by having essentially 2 number 10s out there. Ladero he's always been a great defensive number 10, but he's not the guy he was 3 years ago, just in terms of the amount of ground that he covers. And then Rusnak is like, he's a number 10 playing as a number 8. And the trade-off to have more skill out there so far, it looks really, really good. It looked really good this weekend against Minnesota for an hour or so. It looks good, obviously, through 20 minutes of this game as well. I am curious, though, to see if NYCFC are going to be able to start using the ball and pull him out a little bit, make him cover more ground, and make him put in the types of challenges that you expect out of or you need to have out of a box-to-box guy.
Yeah, they do get some help, though. It does seem like from Roldan and Morris as wingers. Because there are certain times where I even see Jordan coming into the middle, like right there. You just saw him on the goal. You see him in a very central spot at the top of the D, or I guess in this case, just inside it. And you'll see Ladero swing out more to like a traditional winger position. And I think sometimes I've seen them kind of from that point. Morris will either drop in and defend, or if Roldan's in there, he'll drop in and kind of play more of that midfield spot if he sees Rusnak out of position. So they do have some honest guys around them that can help out with the shift. But I agree, it's not a traditional 8 for him, because he's had much more of a creator role where he's getting closer in Salt Lake to Krylak or getting underneath.
Ask Salt Lake fans about the amount of defense Albert Rusnak played there over the course of 4 years. It was not a lot.
Well, I would say this goal is big for him too, just for the club, because he came in, as a designated player. And I think there was a lot of talk over, at least on our show, about should he get should they hand him the penalty? Should they not hand him the penalty? How do we get him going? Yeah, I agree. Absolutely not. And I think at some point it's when you go into a top club like this that has been successful over the years past, and you come in as a new player, like you have to prove yourself to the group, and that you can contribute, and that you can ultimately have that result in wins. So I think, to have a team goal like that and for him to get on the score sheet is probably going to take a lot of pressure off him, make him feel a little bit more confident in his place in the team.
Charlie, I got to ask you this. I think you have an opinion on it. I love that João Paulo wears the All Blacks.
Yeah.
What does cleat choice say about a player?
I think it says a lot about a player, to be honest. Just going back and
Chuck, what do you see when you see a center back in vapors?
Somebody to bully.
Yeah, it's like, let's go. I know he's gonna be taking at least.
Except Gooch. Gooch gets an exemption. Gooch gets an exemption because no one's gonna mess with Gooch.
Yeah, typically, if you were an All Black, you were industrious. You were industrial. You were a hard worker, fighter, tackler. There was nothing fancy about your game. And if you were a player who wore colorful boots and vapors, I mean, it depended on the brand of cleat you wore.
Always Adidas. Always Adidas, right?
Yeah, the type of mold. Then okay, this is a player who likes to take touches versus a player who's more defensive and versus a player who's going to dance on the ball and has some flair. So cleats do tell a lot about a player.
And helmets.
Yeah, helmet. Yeah,
that just means you're the enforcer. You're coming for it. Stay away from that guy.
Yeah. I'm ready to go to the penalty box, all right, coach?
Or he's seen something. When I see somebody
for fighting, no big deal.
He's seen
five
something.
for fighting.
He's been
the helmet. Something. The helmet just means I can win headers on that guy. Like he's not going up full.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Would you be wearing that whole neck collar now? You see the new neck thing?
Oh, I saw someone wearing that. What was that?
Omar.
Bobasi and Omar wear it. I haven't looked into it. Like, what's the science behind it?
I don't know, but when I saw it, I said, what is that?
Yeah.
It's got to be for concussion treatment. That's my guess.
I'm really curious on what it does.
I mean, I hope it works. Because like those two guys in particular, there's a lot of others who've had, a lot of knocks, man. So anything that helps, go for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Would we consider this first 25 minutes from NYCFC to be somewhat rudderless without Maxi Morales? Because I feel like they've gotten on the ball and then had no idea what to do with it. And our guy, Santi Rodriguez, is kind of a ghost. So
yeah, I haven't seen much of him.
Oh, he had one good pass to Amundsen around like the third, fourth minute. And it was a back post cross early on.
Here's the report, by the way. NYCFC are saying Maxi Morales is out with a, quote, trunk injury.
Is that from he's over 30, Wiebe? Do you think that's from crossing his legs?
I don't know, dude. I gotta tell you, I think I have a trunk injury myself. I think
dear.
I think somewhere in the trunk. I'm assuming the trunk is like somewhere between your knees and your armpits. Like
I love the injury naming conventions. Shout out to Chris Whittingham if he's listening.
Man, yeah. Wow. I'm crying.
Those trunk injuries, man.
They'll get you, man. They'll really get you.
They will get you.
I'm just having flashbacks to the Megan Rapinoe watch along, which was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
That was good. That was pretty good.
That was a good one.
Oh, everybody watching this, it's just like, what did we just stumble in on? And they look down like, why am I crossing my legs? I never did this before.
Are we gonna have something for the second half or what?
Guys, the mood is the vibe is incredible right now. We should have punchy. MLS teams playing MLS teams every semifinal of Concacaf.
There's no signs of anxiety here. Like a normal Liga MX game, like the only crying you do is just from sorrow. Like there's no There's no tears of joy to be had. Even when the Revs or whoever win 3-0, like you just, you still know the gut punch is coming.
Yeah, well, that's still available for us.
That is true. That's true. Yeah. It's down the line. Delay it down the line.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. Jordan's been pretty hard to get off the ball so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the best he's looked.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Injury.
Super direct, like decisive, just
a little bit of shiftiness too.
Yeah, just kind of like strong and quicker than the guy next to him, which
it's amazing to think what he's been through just over the last couple of years with injuries and continue to come back. Like that takes a lot. And he still looks, athletically, he's looking good. So, and there's plenty of time for him to fight his way.
Schmetzer's writing in his notebook. What do we got? What do we think here?
Here we got.
I don't know.
I love. Does he still? I love that they make coaches wear like credentials as well too. It's like we know who this guy is.
I don't think they do. That's one of the first things that you got to learn here on the media side. Take the credential off.
Schmetz is a man of the people, so he just keeps wearing.
No, there are bizarre rules for Concacaf Champions League. Then like it's different than MLS. Because I remember there'd be stuff where we'd like play in.
Back post ball. There it is. Oh! Goal. NYCFC. Thiago Andrade. Cross from the left side, kind of looped, lofted to the back post, headed across. Scrambling defenders. There was only one to Andrade with the. They call it would you call that a scissor kick?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a scissor kick.
Yeah. All right.
You see the replay.
I'm not going to take it away from him.
So Santi to Talis Magno there's a nice overlap in back.
Yeah, good little header
and a perfectly floated ball too.
Yeah,
these are two
really good goals. Yeah.
Yep. Great movement.
Wow. Oh God, we got to tell the chat guys. Anders is in tears. Oh my God!
Is he crying?
Crying.
Anders is literally crying.
Put him on the stream.
He's leaving. I guess it's all. It's
goodbye.
It's promise from now.
So
on.
David T in the chat says, "What's Schmetzer writing? ? Quote: Find out what the heck a trunk injury is."
That's amazing.
Oh God. You psychos.
I'll go ahead and finish my CCL
stories.
Yes. Yeah. They made us change all of our underwear before a game with Houston. Yeah, we were like
to prevent trunk injury.
Yeah, speaking. No, like there was all these like crazy strict rules about like you couldn't wear. You had to have like. If you were wearing orange shorts, you had to have orange underwear. Otherwise, I guess it'd be like confusing, I guess, to people because they're like the slider version. And if you were wearing white normally.
What's confusing?
I don't know. It was very bizarre. But then you'd like go out and the other team would be warming up just in like a scrimmage penny with no shirt on underneath because it'd be like insanely hot in Panama City. And you'd be like, what? Like, we're worried about our underwear matching. These guys aren't even wearing shirts. Like, what are the rules here? Same thing with like coaches had to wear pennies at times while they were managing on the sideline. There was just some bizarre rules that were, I felt like we're kind of doing to troll you.
I'm pro penny. I have to get my state's penny. Calen out. I'll go penny for the second half.
We know you're fond of a penny.
Yeah, I'll go penny for the second half.
Only high fashion pennies.
Only.
Moral of the story, always bring a backup pair of underwear to CCL. You got to be ready for anything.
Definitely a traveler who packs like double the underwear and never uses it. just in case. Just in case. You just never know.
Oh, man. So this is interesting. So now we have, Seattle comes out, gets the goal, and now it's level. It definitely feels like there's more goals in this one. Obviously, it's still early game, but I was thinking this was going to be like pretty tight, cautious, conservative, and both teams are really kind of going for it right now.
Seems like NYCFC dropped their line of confrontation. Am I off in that?
Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, we'll see how long they keep that. I think just after the goal, it's probably a little more natural to see that.
Got to tell you, I went back and I watched the goal. Rusnak does not cover himself in glory defensively. On the build-up, I mean. Okay. Take a look again. Yeah. So Santi and Tati are able to put him in the spin cycle, and like he never comes close to putting any pressure on it. And then he just sort of chills at the top of the box instead of.
Well, they had the numbers there. They had the numbers there.
Yeah, for sure. But you would have liked to see him sniff the danger a little bit.
Here we go.
This is definitely more free-flowing than we've seen from Seattle typically. It's nice when they play like this.
Yeah. It seems like Ladeiro's kind of got a little bit of a free roll. Seems to be he's on the right-hand side there. He's gone out to the left, so he's kind of doing a lot of interchanging.
Oh, that's it. Gotta be it. Yep.
Offside.
Oh boy.
We got VAR and CCL now, though. Three-letter acronyms that belong together.
Yeah, we need to see this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was offside by a yard.
Do you guys think Tati gets sold this summer?
I think it might depend on whether or not they win. They win CCL and go to Club World Cup, right? Because like Tati Castellanos is going to play in Europe at some point in his career. Could be this summer, or it could be next year, whenever. He's probably only going to get one chance to play in a Club World Cup. I don't know how much that matters to him. But it's got to matter for something, right? It's got to matter to some level. So if they win, if NYCFC wins CCL, and they very well could, don't you sit down with Tati and say, okay, we're going to give you a new contract and,
Oh, that's a man with a new haircut right there. Jordan Morris just
this game is
bombazo. Wow. And right when Roldan got that ball, I was sitting here thinking to myself, like, okay, break in at the next point and just say, hey, Roldan's like vision and timing on those cutbacks are so good. And he gets into this position, like the runs he makes, the timing of those runs, the balls, that's perfect off the throw in. A little touch to bring it down, cut it back. Just the body control by Morris. You can see him get really deliberate with the steps and then just womp.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who the NYCFC players are yelling at, but it really looks like they should all be yelling at each other on that one.
There's no excuse coming off a throw-in.
Yeah.
They just didn't think Ladero could throw it that far, I think.
Right.
I just feel like anytime Roldan makes the darting run in behind you, you have to respect and
honor
track and follow him because he kills people in that position. Do you think he could make the World Cup team? Is there a world in which Christian Roldan makes the U.S. World Cup 23?
I think if it's expanded to 27, he makes it, or 26, which is from what I've been hearing, it's pretty likely that the World Cup roster gets expanded that much. I think he gets in as like one of the last guys in because A, versatility, and B, for everything I've heard, he's just like a beloved teammate. And like he's the type of guy you want in the locker room because he will never complain about not getting playing time. He is like an extra coach to have for this team. So I think if they expand it to 26, he gets in. If it's 23, it's a tougher squeeze.
Go!
Oh, God.
I mean, the way
this is amazing.
Yeah, the way that they are pulling NYCFC apart in possession to create these angles and these service opportunities and the runs off of them, and then the surface. I mean, it is they are on that ball from Alex Roldan is I mean, tucked inside 3 NYCFC defenders.
And the insane chemistry that the Roldans have on that right side. Like that one, as soon as you saw Christian tuck inside, you knew that Alex was bombing up the flank, looking to get that pass into space so he could put in that exact cross.
Oh, wow. That worked out. Oh, no. Roldan hit the pass, and I was like, he overshot him. It hits the referee, lobs itself up perfectly to have a little back check when it hits in front of Morris.
That's why I think Morris likely will get into the roster. He just has that ability to, like, if you just think in the last 10, I mean, we're seeing it throughout the course of this match, and the pass was beautiful too, but on the Rusnak goal, but he just has that ability to just turn people around, which against any team in the world, he's going to cause problems, just with his, physicality, his ability to get behind. And he's added so much more to his game that we've seen as well too, as far as link up play and just, understanding, seeing the game ahead of time. So I think with some time, he's going to even get better this year.
What you at right now, Charlie?
37-52.
All right.
I'm with Charlie.
Fine. Good, I'm there too. Just making sure.
No, there was just a couple. He could have backheeled it to get through. There were a couple almost.
Yeah.
But I feel much better about the Morris than Christian. Although I think Christian is a guy that you can like. The other thing I'd say is just like, every manager just says you want to know what you're going to get out of a guy, and like Christian's exactly that. Like. And he had a good run of form with the national team where he was able to come in late in games and make a difference, either defensively or offensively. So
like the Honduras game.
Yeah.
The first Honduras game on the road, he came in, made a difference. It's just tough, when Greg clearly values playing in Europe over Major League Soccer. So you have a lot of players who are over in Europe who haven't really played yet, but over the next 6 months or 8 months could take that next step. And I think that's what's tough for a player like Jordan Morris and especially Christian Roldan is you have to perform at such a high level every single match to really give yourself the best chance at making the World Cup squad, because it's only going to get tougher for some of these guys playing in MLS, unfortunately.
How do you think Greg uses the Nations League games?
I think he's going to play his strongest squads of players available. There'll be a little bit of tinkering probably just to see, if I were to play this group of players, maybe you could see Gio Reyna slide into a number 10 type position. If you're trying to fit Timothy Weah in there, maybe, who knows, because we're starting to see Ricardo Pepi start playing more. It kind of reminds me of my first year in Europe. It was starting a little bit, not playing for most of the year, and then at the end of the year I started playing again, and you earn the coach's trust, and you earn it by showing your commitment to the squad, your commitment to the team by just training hard and not complaining and just putting your head down and being a good professional. And I think he's going through that process now, and I think the first couple of months are really difficult because you got to understand a new language. You got to understand the requirements for training every day and what the coach expects from you and what your teammates expect from you. And there's just a lot that goes into it. The pressure, how you're going to, where you're going to eat, where your meal is going to come from. Do you have to learn how to cook? Do you get a chef? There's a lot of these things that go into it. And so
I'm guessing, Charlie, you weren't doing a lot of cooking.
I had to learn. I did have to learn.
What were the? Give me the I know how this works. So, like the young man, you have like 3 dishes. You just rotate them. What were you making
when I started cooking?
Scrambled eggs.
Yep. Eggs. That was pretty easy. Pasta was probably like the go-to. You're hungry. You need like something that's going to be filling, and it doesn't take 2 hours to prepare. So it was like I would cook
3 ingredient footballer meals with Charlie Davies.
Chicken and pasta. That was the easiest thing to make and the most healthy, along with the salad. And I think, those were kind of the go-tos. But what I see from Ricardo Pepi really shows me that he's like turning the corner. So, I was always saying, hey, Timothy Weah might be your best option as a 9 if Ricardo Pepi doesn't get going. But, and then you're trying to figure out how do you fit your best 11 on the pitch, especially that attacking 6. Man, there's so many different ways you could kind of play around with that. So I would expect to see a little bit of that from Greg Berhalter in the Nations League and the friendlies leading up to the Nations League.
You think Pepe's getting invited to Gio and Scally's Chipotle runs? Yeah. Apparently that's a big thing for them.
Yeah, I would assume. I think he's earned it now.
Right?
Yeah.
I think so. Is Augsburg close to Dortmund? I don't even know where Augsburg is.
Augsburg sounds like an East Germany.
Augsburg's Bavarian. It's an exurb of Munich.
Yeah,
I learned.
Yeah, Dortmund's a long way game. Long way away.
This game has been so much more open than I expected it to be. Like there's almost no play in central midfield. It's just like from one end to the other. And like once they get there, they're playing obviously, but like it's not like I expected this to be a battle kind of like at the midfield stripe, and there's just been none of that. Both teams are here to put up goals.
Take Liga MX out of the mix. Just play free. Just play free. Does Roldan look backish? What does he look?
Which Roldan?
Oh, sorry, Ladero. Too much.
I think this
too
is
much Roldan talk.
Yeah, right. This is the best. Ooh. This is the best he's looked this year, I think. Like he looks spry. I don't think he's quite as sharp as we see from him when he's at his best. But like it's working. It's working for him in attack.
Anders wanted a red on this, so let's see.
No, it's not.
Oh my God, Anders.
Anders is so soft.
I watched the replay.
Where's he putting these comments?
He's in my ear on the
okay.
On the
you're getting it.
Yeah.
Straight in the ear.
Oh yeah. It's like an episode of this is how other people are listening to or watching instant replay, Charlie. I can see it now. This is why we get to like, you're so wrong. I'm like, he's so wrong.
Oh, good ball.
Oh no!
Oh,
it was set up for him again.
That's why Charlie says never trust a midfielder. Never trust him. How are you gonna take this off of Rui Diaz's foot? That's 3-1.
Yeah, maybe. He could see him. He's like, what was I thinking? That's why when the ball came in the box, number where Charlie was, he's mine. Got it.
That looked like me versus Lee Win in 2014.
Except Lee was like sliding and finishing that in 2014.
Yeah. But anytime the ball was in the box, you knew he was shooting, no matter what, if it was the right decision or not.
He had a lot of Kobe assists that year. This is starting to feel like a real CCL.
Yeah, this is good. This is
Here
good.
we go.
You just don't, in my opinion, you just don't step to João Paulo. You just let him. He's wearing the All Blacks. Like, you just let him be, man. If you get in a little tussle with him, you get into coming together. You just help that man up and keep walking.
Yeah, well, I think he just took that, in Andre's opinion, vicious straight arm to the face. But I think,
yeah, but he's got the beard. That beard protects.
He must his jaw must be broken. I can't believe he's still
minimally dislocated at least.
Yeah, but certain guys like that, sometimes it'll just like wake them up a little bit and be like, you know what, I want to mix it up a little bit too. I think because he I don't know if Morales said something to him because he seemed to be following him in that case. So
halftime.
I'm gonna go pour myself a beverage.
That's a good idea.
There
you go. 2-1 Sounders right now. One away goal for NYCFC. First goal of this match. All the goals, honestly, of this match. Absolutely gorgeous. Albert Rusnak with his first goal for the Sounders to get it started. Good. Beautiful build-up. And then Thiago Andrade with a goal for NYCFC. Another great goal. And then Jordan Morris from Christian Roldan. Huge goal for the Sounders. 2-1. Really open game right now. What do you liked, guys? What are you thinking about at halftime?
Been a great first half. I mean, three really top quality goals, really good finishes. And then even, the one that gets called offside, which was offside, correct call. A couple other build-up plays, close opportunities. I think Seattle's been the better team throughout the first half. Just being able to be really dynamic, good at sharp in possession, clean, overloading. They've been able to get in behind, right, especially on that right-hand side. But Jordan Morris has also been threatening. And then they just do a really good job of finding good balls in the box and looking for that cutback. But give NYCFC some credit because for as good the Sounders have been, they find their moment. Maybe didn't have as many moments in the first half for NYCFC, but create that one sort of overload on the left-hand side, overlap, Amundsen, good ball across, and then nice goal there. So they're right in it. I think there's probably more goals in the second half. I hope the game doesn't just shut down, but also it seemed like the game was kind of ratcheting up a little bit as far as the intensity towards the end of the first half.
How would you approach it if you were running Dyla? Charlie, do you go for this and try to get a second away goal and look if they get a third on you to get a third? Do you kind of rein it in and say we'll take our away goal and
you don't go all out and you throw everyone forward, but you try and go out and get another goal. I mean, I think what they need to do is get Tati Castellanos on the ball more often. He wasn't too, I think, involved in this first half, and he's got to be closer to the goal. I found it that he was checking back a lot, trying to get involved in the game because New York City FC didn't really retain possession in the attacking half. And that's when they're very, I think, difficult to deal with because they can ping the ball side to side. They're good. And then once they get you kind of overloaded, they can hit you with the direct to whether it's Thiago Andrade or if it's Tyus Magno on the back post and get you isolated. That's when they're really dangerous. And we haven't seen that from them at all. And so if you can get Tati Castellanos more involved in that attacking third and the final third, man, they'll have many more chances. And I think they might be able to get one.
1-0 win in the scoreline back at Red Bull Arena. I was going to say at NYCFC, but at Red Bull Arena for the second leg would be NYCFC moving on away goals. That'd be a 1-0 win for them if they were to hold this scoreline and then go back and get that result. But still 45 minutes to play. I don't think we'll see any sort of lineup changes. Nothing stands out to me that you'd make a change unless there's something where Schmetzer is looking at Ladero or Ruiz Diaz and saying, hey, they're on a clock here, and we sort of saw that in the Minnesota game. Flip-flopped. It was Ladero first and then Ruiz Diaz after that. But what do you think they're talking about at halftime? Do you see any changes coming for either manager?
I don't think personnel changes, no. I think Schmetzer's probably really happy with his. Ronnie Deitler probably not as happy, but like his hands are kind of tied given the absences. I tactically, I don't know what you do if you're NYCFC because road goals are still in effect in CCL. 2-1 on the road it's not bad. So I don't know if you're NYCFC, maybe you just button it up and say, all right, let's play to keep this score line, take it back to, our fortress that is Red Bull Arena, and try to get it done there. That's not their nature, but it might be the pragmatic thing to do. But I don't expect any personnel changes, and you could tell I'm kind of waffling about tactical changes. By the way, the Red Bull Arena game, that will be NYCFC's 4th home opener of the year. And they have one more to go after that because they haven't opened Citi Field yet.
Yeah, we have wife children house, which is my burner account, asking, did I miss why Maxi is out for NYCFC? I think we all missed it. Until we found out. Please put the tweet back up. We have an image here. Anders, if you could just please find that and put it back up for us of exactly what a trunk injury is. You see here, this is a trunk injury, and depending on the severity of the injury, you have some bark perhaps torn off. You may get down to the possibility of sap, depending on the severity and the degree of the trunk injury that you have. But this right here is a rough approximate. Can't say the word. It's roughly what Maxi has. I don't know what the hell a trunk injury is, but
oh, guys.
Oh man, I've been playing daddy daycare all day, so I am tired and I am punchy. Let me tell you, this second half, you don't know where this is going to
go. All right. Stay with us, audience. We promise. We'll do better. We'll do better.
We will get there. Oh, man. I got some chat coming through. Different people comment on what's going on. None from... Yeah, I don't think... How long do you go with Ruiz Diaz and Ladero? That's the question. And at what scoreline? Like, if you get an early goal, you probably make the change, no? Like...
Maybe, but the Sounders don't have a game this weekend.
I didn't.
Right? They changed their regular season, so they get a week off after this. I think at this point you got to trust them. If they say they're good to go, like this is your 9, this is your 10, these are your 2 best players, your 2 DPs. Like if they're not on the roster for this game, what are they there for? I think you got to trust them.
Yeah, it's tough to save guys when you get to this stage of a tournament, and when you've expended this much to get here. So I agree. I think you kind of got to trust them. I think you probably feel a little better about making changes if you have to with Ruiz Diaz, with Montero and Will Bruin on the bench. But I think you want to give him a chance. I'd say you at least give him 20 minutes or so, see how he's doing, and then kind of go from there. But I do think those guys actually can make a difference off the bench too. So at a certain point, you might want to get them in anyways.
Would have been nice for Ladero to let that one fall to Ruiz Diaz just to get a little.
Yeah, but he could have easily smacked that too in the back of the net. He's done that before.
I mean, that's a play too that the Sounders are just being able to target. I mean, this one was obviously more of a ball in behind than a throw, which is a little bit more forgivable. But just that cutback is something that they continue to do, where you even see in this case like two guys running to that cutback spot. But it helps when you have that ability to get in behind with Roldan, continuing to stretch the field, and then Jordan Morris, of course, on the left-hand side as well.
Do we have the goals via Twitter highlights, Anders, or no? Could watch those. Cool. We're going to try to get them for you, folks. In the meantime, enjoy this Denny's commercial. It was an absolute grand slam from them.
I just saw a comment in the comment by American guy, and he says, "I hate both teams." So
yeah, I mean, I think that's not an uncommon experience for some MLS fans when watching.
I'm guessing there's a high correlation between Portland fans who hate both teams. Yeah,
rough one.
Yeah, probably
rough one. Who's the player of the first half for you? Farhad wants us to name the player of the first half. He also says Jordan Morris looks 3 years younger. That's the euphoria haircut. That's the euphoria haircut.
I thought Jordan Morris was a player of the first half, right?
Goal and assist.
Goal and an assist, and like he was dangerous in other moments too. But you can't name a player in that Sounders attack who was not good, right? Yeah. Roldan was awesome. I know Lodero took that off of Rui Diaz's foot, and but he was, I thought, really good. And like Rui Diaz, he missed, like he didn't finish a header. He should have probably buried. He wasn't super influential, but I thought he looked spry. He looked like himself. If you're a Sounders fan, you got to be pretty stoked with that.
Yeah, Rusnak getting his first goal as well. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's also just the interplay, the dynamic movement, the understanding of each other. A lot of just kind of really nice combination play in that attacking third, where it looked like times New York City was kind of chasing shadows, trying to figure out who to step to. Weave and thought, oh, the 1-2's on. Then next thing you know, it goes to the third man who's running through the box as well. So some pretty dynamic stuff in the first half from Seattle. They've been in good form.
We've got Andy Sewell in the comments. Probably, I feel like Calen, you and I are probably the only ones that are going to get this. It's Jordan Morris greater than Fezco.
That's not in my.
Wow,
yeah,
none of us.
I don't got it.
I'm the only one, man. Only one who's watched Euphoria. That sucks.
Jordan Morris. Is he the Oakland guy?
Yeah, Jordan Morris, the heart of gold, okay. Man. He's a bad man, but he's got a heart of gold. To stand by you.
I do follow enough to know.
All right, producer Thomas has got me. He understood. We had some folks in the chat. If you got it, hit us up. Really, just still discussing trunk injuries in the chat, which that's the gift that keeps on giving. Also, Shafin, says, "Nice cat, Doyle. Your cats have been front and center."
Yeah, here, everybody. This is baby girl. Put good energy into the world for baby girl. She's having major surgery for cancer next week. So we need that good karma. We need to pray to Bast and the other cat gods. That So.
Carlos Alayo says, "Do we think Ruiz will score double-digit goals this season?" I mean, if he
will score double-digit?
Rui Diaz. If Rui Diaz plays 1,000 minutes, I will grant him a double-digit goal season. I feel like
that's not really going out on a limb there.
I mean, 1,000 minutes is not it's not nothing. Come on, I just tried to.
Rui Diaz 10 goals. Yeah, I can bet on that. If you told me 18, 20, 22, that now we're talking.
Who's the Golden Boot winner this year? I feel like we did the draft and just an exercise in futility, really.
I will tell you 1,000%. I want it to be Brandon Vasquez. I want this narrative to keep going.
Yeah, wonderful.
He's a kid with pedigree too. Like he was part of that U17 group with Christian Pulisic and Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and he disappeared and became kind of a journeyman. And now he's putting the ball in the net, but like the other stuff as well, just in terms of his movement, his hold-up play, his ability to pick meaningful passes in the final third. I love a story of a guy who was, supposed to be a phenom, and it goes wrong, but then he gets that second chance and comes good with it. So I am rooting hard for Brandon Vasquez to be that guy.
What does the striker coalition have to say about Brandon Vasquez, Charlie? When you meet with all the other, old timers, what's the Brandon Vasquez, what's the scuttlebutt around the round table?
He's a striker for Cincinnati, and he's doing really well right now.
Apparently, I have to tell them when to restart the clock. But by the way, we have maybe if you're watching on FS1, you're seeing the promo right now. Big Fox Saturday, LA Galaxy, LAFC. I think it is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. It's the first Chicharito Vela matchup in Chicharito Vela MLS history. One or the other has been hurt, no matter how this has gone down.
Who would you take, Miguel Berry or Brandon Vasquez?
Brandon Vasquez.
I think they both have pretty high upside. I'd probably take Brandon Vasquez. I think he's a little better setup, man.
All right, let's see the goals, Anders, before we hit the because I see Sean John coming out here getting the shoulder stretch on. Run us through these goals so people can see them before we get there. Here's the first one for Seattle. Didn't get a lot of the build up there, but you see some of the interplay. Beautiful weighted ball from Jordan Morris. Great patience. Albert Rusnak off the bounce. First time. Easy as you like. Thiago leveling it for NYCFC. 27th minute. Little header back across. Kellen Rowe out to sea. Tati gets the header. Puts it across. Thiago Andrade with the acrobatic finish. One of two young Brazilians in the starting 11 alongside Tyus Magno. And here's the third. Bam! Jordan Morris. Get ready. We're running out on the field. We have the beautiful. I love the CCL on-field graphic where champions are crowned with like the two crests and the CCL logo in the middle. Should bring that in for MLS. I'll let you know when to start the clock, Anders. I'm assuming all the rest of us are on there. We're just got the good dude wipes advertisement there on Tyus Magno's arm.
I didn't change mine. You guys are still on the same schedule, right?
Yeah. We're looking at Rusnak right now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Good. All right.
And no, we're still delaying. Tati with the kicks.
I was gonna say there's not even a ball in the middle yet.
There is, yeah. It's just hard to see. It's like so perfectly placed on the line. And start your engines, Anders. Hit that clock. Here we go. Second half. Seattle NYCFC Concacaf Champions League semifinal. Scoreline is 2-1 to the Sounders. In the other semifinal, Pumas with a 2-1 victory against Cruz Azul. So right now, Cruz Azul have a deficit to make up. They obviously can make that deficit up, no problem. The other thing about it, though, is that loss hurts them in terms of who gets to host the second leg in the final. We know an MLS team will be there, but if either of these two MLS teams can win both of their semifinal games, they will be guaranteed to host the second decisive leg of the final.
Have we ever done that?
Yes, Montreal did it.
Montreal did.
And RSL did it as well. Didn't they?
They did. Yeah.
They did. Yeah. Yep.
Forgot about that.
And where was the LA one played?
That was in Orlando.
It was in Orlando. So
neutral.
Yeah, I mean, if NYCFC was in that technically would have been a host for them, but for LAFC, no, that was not a home game. No. Oh, we have the Brazilian audience in now. Just trying to bone up with my Portuguese in the chat here. They'll be glad to hear, Doyle, that the chat has we've got a real like concentrated prayer.
A groundswell of good karma for baby girl. I appreciate that.
That's great.
Good vibes only. That's the the motto for 2022.
Looks like NYCFC a little. Ooh.
Guys, Christian Roldan is so good.
Interesting technical tackle choice there for Morales with the 2-footed sliding. Didn't get it. Has to get up, keep running.
I mean, he's leading CCL in assists. I don't think a MLS player has ever done that before. Osorio won the Golden Boot in 2018. But I don't think an MLS player has ever led CCL in assists.
Be curious to see what Javi Mo's numbers were back in the RSL run.
He's probably one of the most underrated MLS players of the past.
So I mean that whole team, Sabo's probably arguably one of the most underrated forwards of the past. People don't talk a ton about Sabo in those terms.
Yeah, I thought Olave was amazing.
Yeah. Olave.
I mean, Olave for 2-3 straight years was the best center back in the league.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of good center backs in the league then.
We have Shard. Do you think a Liga MX team would ever come in for Christian Roldan in the chat?
I wouldn't be. I would be surprised if there haven't already been, if there hadn't already been interest and maybe even offers. But if you're Christian Roldan, why leave, right?
If you're Alex, on the other hand,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh! Just didn't get the touch.
That's the one.
Tati in behind.
Yep.
That's the one.
God, love the pest. Just Tati, after he doesn't do what he wants to do, kicks the board, smashes his shin with his fist.
Boy, Arriaga just 3 yards deeper than everybody else.
Oh,
what a ball in there! What a
great ball, great run. You could see what he was trying to do. He was just trying to let it skim off the top of his foot. I think he was just trying to redirect it, actually, not bring it down. Or maybe he got stuck a little bit in between two minds. I thought he was just trying to kind of have it skim off his foot, redirect it in goal.
With outside of his foot.
Yeah. And it just got a little more on his foot than he would have liked it to. So just kind of held up. But it was a good run. He does such a good job of just kind of ghosting off that back shoulder. You see, we watched it last week with Chicharito, where he kind of drags one person one way. It's just, I don't see a ton of that kind of check and go. It's really just a drift where he just kind of gets right behind that back shoulder and then times the run really well. I think he scored I remember in the playoffs last year, especially, there were just a number of goals like that where you're like, how is he naked on the back post? How is that possible?
Yeah. It's almost like Wando style.
Yeah.
Right?
shout out to Faude Scarpa. What's up, man? He's a Sounders fan in Brazil, watches every game, been a fan since 2020. So I'm going to guess João Paulo had something to do with that? I don't know. Let us know.
Well, João Paulo wasn't there in 2020.
He's talking about Faude's. He's talking about the hegemonia de Mexico, and I feel like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to CCL. I think he knows.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's at the point where if they don't get it done this year, it's really crushing.
More crushing?
No, wait. Yeah, more crushing, but wait a minute. 2022, good vibes only. Good vibes only.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go.
So we have Nate asking us what we think of Ruidíaz so far, that he doesn't think he's been very involved in the match so far. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. But Ruidíaz can be like that for the Seattle Sounders.
Yeah, as long as he's making hard runs and he's putting pressure on the New York back line. off the ball. Go ahead, Wiebe. What do you got? Another trunk joke?
Yeah, no. Luke Rogers, 11 MVP. Do we think Luke Rogers could have been a game changer in this match? Just anybody who's willing to bring up Luke Rogers.
Wow, it's a deep cut.
Is
deep cut.
That is really deep. That's a Lave zero right there. I bet he put Luke Rogers right in his pocket. But I appreciate you thought it was a trunk joke.
I assumed.
Corner kick coming up for Seattle, 52nd minute. You can follow along with us if you want to time it out. Up at the top of the screen, you see where our clock is right now. We finally figured out how to do that. Good ball in, brought down. Rui Diaz shot, deflected. Looks like it's going to be another corner kick. Yep.
How will Sporting Kansas City fans feel if Seattle's the first team to win, first MLS team to win CCL?
You know, my line into Sporting Kansas City fandom is not as strong as it once was.
Oh, stop! Joel is right upstairs.
He's not. No, he's not. But he would have more thoughts on the outside back situation generally than the Sounders. I think, to me, if I was a Kansas City fan right now, I'd be pretty worried about myself. I just feel like they're in a place, generational transition that doesn't seem to be quite timed out the way they wanted to. Andrade in behind, New York City FC attacking. He loses the ball. Yep,
that was really nice defending.
Slow him down, João Paulo, the boss. When you see the All Blacks coming up on you, you just hand the ball away. Just please don't hurt me.
Ooh.
Alex rolled on, man.
Is it kind of surprising? It seemed like they weren't that into re-signing him this offseason.
I was shocked by it at the time. I hope he got paid. He deserves to get paid. And to me, he's one of the best right backs in the league. And he showed that it's not like in World Cup qualifying with El Salvador. It's like he played central midfield for a team that played really pretty soccer. So I was surprised when I heard that he was kind of being shopped and maybe not necessarily part of the plans. And I bet in retrospect they're very happy with the way it worked out because he's been excellent again.
If you're NYCFC, you got to be a little frustrated after that.
Calen got hit in the trunk.
Yeah.
That's a trunk shot. Yeah. It's
trunk injury.
It's upper trunk. Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, Tati just slapped him right.
Yeah.
Trunked him.
Somewhere, Maxie's saying, "I feel you, man." We had Tati come to Palmeiras. Maybe that's why the Brazilian chat is right now.
Oh, there you go.
Scouting Tati.
That makes sense. When he finishes this game and watches back the stream, he will see that comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tati's a big watch-along guy. Everybody.
Yeah, huge one. Yeah. All right, gotta go back and check. Thank God they have the clock there now, so I can go check all my chances and see what they had to say. Do they like that header?
So Palmeiras have won 2 straight Copa Libertadores. I didn't realize they had only won once before this. Anyway.
Just thinking back on the 14 World Cup, U.S. was based out of Sao Paulo's training center, and it was unbelievable. But there were multiple training centers basically in a line, and it was Palmeiras right next door. And I always thought that was interesting that both clubs basically had taken the opportunity to try to train side by side. I mean, but these are huge facilities.
Yeah, and 2 of the biggest clubs in the Americas.
Yeah. Gerardo Garcia hits us up. Hey, Matt, as a Mexican who follows, likes, and enjoys MLS and also a Pumas supporter, he thinks Sounders can beat Pumas in a CCL final. I think we all think that either of these teams could get the job done. And that's what would make it so painful if they weren't, because there are often times where MLS teams get to a final or in a semifinal, and it's a Monterrey, it's a Tigres, it's a America, it's a
it's those three.
Yeah,
those
no
three.
offense, no offense.
No disrespect to Pumas or there's a Cruz Azul team's really good too, but I think everyone would agree that they're maybe a level below the typical representatives from Liga MX in recent years in CCL final.
I had somebody ask me the other day, what will it really mean if MLS win one? And I kind of one, it's just a monkey off the back, but we just, as a league, we need to be in position to win and just start doing it. You can't get two until you have one. We just you gotta start creating belief. I hope the Leagues Cup also helps. See, I got that waited all the way until the 59th minute to get a Leagues Cup reference. Hope Leagues Cup starts to give the league as a whole, but certainly the elite teams, more looks, more shots, more experience against Liga MX, so that there aren't the moments wearing a Revs jersey here where you just sort of crumble under that pressure, where it's more normal.
This is a big moment here for NYCFC.
Free kick. NYCFC's right side, just outside the 18. Looks like Santi standing over it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Oh.
Wow.
Just looked like it was about a step and a half behind the runs. About to hit the 60th minute. Oh, Daniel Minch, explain the Leagues Cup. Well, pour yourself a drink, sir, and settle in. We've got a half an hour left in this game, and we might need 45 minutes for me to really let you know about the biggest competition the North America, the world, has ever seen. Subs, what do you think? Any coming soon? Any that you would make? Any you would be thinking about if you were these managers? Oh, Jackson Reagan faking out Fry a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what subs. Rui Diaz hasn't done anything in the second half, but he's still Rui Diaz. I think you still ride with him, right? And the rest of the Sounders team, they're playing so well. I don't think you do anything. And with NYCFC, it's tough just because of the injuries. They just don't have as many options.
Yeah.
Do you drop one of the wingers and bring Heber on? Go ahead, Charlie.
I was saying for Rui Diaz, he's just so important for your team. You have no one like him. I mean, Freddie Montero can come in for a little bit, and I'd say you take him out around 75th minute.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing anything more from him, you're 75 minutes that's a good chunk of time to get under your feet, under your belt, and then you'll feel like he'll have enough time to recover, and he'll be that much stronger for the second leg, where you're really going to need him.
Yeah, I think 75 is probably with NYCFC's bench today, and then I think just the way things are going for Seattle, I think both teams will probably stick with this first 11 for a little while longer and see maybe another 10, 15 minutes before we start to see a couple changes.
Oh, that chemistry with the World
Yeah,
Gods
it is
so
good.
Is good. It's so good.
I also I really like Christian in this sort of tucked in wing position. where he can come back and get on the ball with his back to goal and either turn you or just understand the timing that runs around him, or like sort of fake that and flip it on you and get him behind. He just makes really good decisions. He's really efficient. Doesn't seem like he's just clean on the ball.
Future Sounders head coach.
Who would if you were betting, like, who are guys like that in the league right now, or even in this game that you're like, oh, there's probably a coach?
Sasha Kleshin for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He went and got his coach's badges. I know he got the B license this past December. I know he wants to be a coach. I wouldn't be surprised if Dax ends up being a coach.
Obviously, Michael.
Yeah, I'd say Michael's sort of the.
Mm-hmm.
You get a coach in the Bradley family on the bench in this one. Andy Rose.
That's true, Andy Rose, right?
Andy Rose, yeah. Would Andy Rose count as the, like, I don't know, because you can't really, because Freddie you can't, obviously Preki you couldn't, like the Schmetzer, the early Schmetzer trade. Oh no!
You gotta finish that.
And that's the thing. Like he said he needs to be more goal dangerous, and like that's the thing that holds Christian Roldan back from being like one of the very best wingers in the league. Is like he's not a finisher, but that's a diving header, man. That's like, there's not only a chance for a goal, like that's a chance to create the highlight that leads your reel for the rest of your life.
He could have just used the inside of his right foot and like angling it down, because on a ball like that, you have to make sure you're hitting it down towards the ground. Just get on top of it, because it's so easy to flick it over the bar.
Daniel Minch, I told you, man. You got to do a little research on the League's Cup for 2023, and you're all in, baby. All in. Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh. Rui Diaz.
Yeah, he's milking it.
All right.
Come on, Calen, you've done that. Miss from a yard out, and you're like, oh God, I'm injured. What a ball that is.
Yeah.
Anders wants a penalty. He's on the Rui Diaz side here. I mean, he does.
Oh, he did get kicked right in the trunk.
He does. We've got a. There's a.
He gets him.
Trunk injury. Trunk injury.
Yep. Oh, he's coming to look at it. He's coming to look at the monitor.
What do you think? All right, what do you think? They're gonna. He does get kicked. I mean, he's not finishing that even if he doesn't get kicked. Like that kick is after the bad first touch. Yeah. Like, so if he
gets to the ball first,
he does, and he gets.
I don't even know if he really connected with him though.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Is
like, I think it stops before it actually touches him.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't give this.
That's not clear. That's not clear
if you have, I hope they don't give this, because I think if you,
they are.
Penalty.
They are.
Oh, whack.
No.
That's against our Anders Payne rule. This is not in line with our stated goal for the game. That I don't personally love the call. I think if you look at that, yes, there's probably some contact there, but I mean, Rui Diaz had already taken the bad. He'd already taken a bad touch.
I know, but the rule. I don't think the rule matters.
No, it has
anymore.
nothing to do with the bad touch. For me, I don't even know if he really made contact with him.
I think he got him. I'm okay with the call.
Fire Fiend in the chat says defender definitely got all ball.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Well played.
Look, Sean
I
John
used to like
Sean
the
John
rule,
should hand him a dude wipe and just make sure he's all right.
It used to be the rule though, if the like, it's kind of like if you took a bad touch or it was going out of bounds anyways, like it's like, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I can see why they gave it. I don't know. It just feels. It's one of those. I'm like, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah,
because he's swiping from behind. He's got no shot at the ball.
Yeah, was that Thiago Martins? He has not covered himself in glory in this game.
He has been a disaster.
Goal.
So 3-1. And I gotta say, the Sounders have been.
They were pressing.
Deserve it.
Yeah, they were pressing those last few minutes, especially.
Yeah. The thing is, for NYCFC, just don't worry about the score. Just get one back. If you go back home with a 3-2 loss, 2 road goals, like that's still okay. So the NYCFC have to be mature here. They can't, lose their minds because of this. They just got to keep playing, and because they were getting chances too,
Get Eber on. He's feeling himself.
There you go.
The scary part for New York is if they do go searching a little bit, one goal, you suddenly kind of could just put this thing to bed. So it's
they still have a shot with down 3-1.
Yeah. Whereas if they concede one more, it's
nobody comes back from 3 goals down in CCL.
Nope. No, sir. No, sirree.
They just have to win 2-0 at home.
Then you got to ask yourself, what's the prognosis, like return time on a trunk injury? Like, is that a long-term deal? Is that a?
I mean, all jokes aside, like if they needed Maxi back.
I'm gonna have to have another drink, Calen. Come on.
It's a peanut-sized injury, typically.
Yeah. Landon Cross, it's spelled W-I-E, just so you have a good feel for that later on when you want
to. The chat is enjoying this.
Yeah. I figured we would be surrounded by fellow children. So once the trunk injury started, I was just
thinking it's like the lunch table in junior high.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that. That's some of my this is my favorite memories. Just laughing at complete idiocy and just trying to one up. Just okay, where am I going to take this? Where am I going to take this?
And have it come into class after lunch.
Yeah, for sure.
Oof. Welcome to the Trunk Show.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this is a family stream, Charlie. Come on now.
They just wish Edmondson keeps making that run. He just cut it off right when the ball goes. Farhad, you will get your wish. I'm sure. Yeah, and John, welcome. We're also, everybody who's here. We do these for all the U.S. national team and Canadian national team games now. We sort of changed up what we were doing. Decided this was a better use of everybody's time. So for all the pre-World Cup warm-ups, I believe, and certainly for all the World Cup games, we'll be with you. We'll have special guests for the World Cup qualifiers that finished out the octagonal. We had DeMarcus Beasley. We had who else we have? We had Sasha Kleshchin. We had Pat Onstad talking about Canada. Toussaint Ricketts was awesome, telling Canadian stories, part of the generation that just sort of left the national team to make way for some of these young guys, but had experience with a lot of them coming in, and as obviously was juiced to see Canada get in the World Cup. So if you're thinking about, hey, what am I going to do? I'm looking for somebody to watch. Oh, boy. Yeah, and we'll be back for the second leg as well. Sorry, Sean Steffen in the chat I can't repeat what was said, but if you're on YouTube, you can see it.
Pogs to Sean.
Yeah. roll
boy.
pressure. Oh, he couldn't find the angle.
You see, like he just does. He's like as good as he is in everything else. He just doesn't have that killer instinct in the box. Guys, the Sounders are balling.
That is
Yeah.
nice.
This is just
stop it.
He gets those too. You've seen those before. Like that's deja vu.
He tried
Did
one
he
last
score
week.
one of those against LAFC or the Galaxy? I want to say he had one of those in the playoffs.
Or
was it Austin?
Well, he had one last year from midfield
yeah.
against Austin. I don't remember him having one of those in the playoffs, but
I think it was LAFC in the playoffs where he just like Anders is he knows. He says it's the year after them better than Bob at home against LAFC. I mean, that's like I feel like I've seen that exact one before where he keeps his head down, doesn't give away the shot, and then just like loops it over.
I hate seeing Anders this happen.
It's tough.
It's unbearable.
I blame Thiago Martins personally.
Yeah. So do NYCFC fans.
Yeah.
That's not a smart fall from Rui Diaz. What do we think of Santi Rodriguez tonight? I'm actually like pretty encouraged.
Yeah, I've been wondering where Magno's been.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like they have a ton of even Andrade. It doesn't feel like they have a ton of dynamic movement once they get the ball into good positions to progress. Like it just kind of feels like they look up and there's not a ton to choose from.
Yeah, you could take Magno off, move Santi out wide, and then bring on Eber up top.
Oh, the slow roller had you fooled. Had Fry a little fooled. It's like, is it going to get there?
He didn't get enough on it.
Yeah. By the way, we have Open Cup going down right now as well. So if you're looking for something else to watch, throw it over to ESPN Plus after this game. And get you some Open Cup. It's a good idea in the finish, though. Kind of like curl it around those two guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of bodies in front of you.
Unside them a little bit.
There you go.
Uh-oh. Well done. Well defended.
Oh, Collins.
Yeah. He just got some rug burn. We might have to start filing Thiago Martins under Goss theorem candidate because he really struggled.
It's tough. It's like that's like the reverse.
And with other positions, it's like okay, you can live with it. They'll be better next year. Score more goals, whatever. But like when it's a defender, a center back struggling, like that sticks out. It's not great.
It's good when like on the preseason show you're a David Goss theorem player of the year because it's like, oh, this is your year, you're gonna explode. But when it's you just got here and people are like next year David Goss theorem player of the year, that's slightly less encouraging.
Does it always take like the full year? Like, could it not be 6 months?
Yeah, it could be. Could be tomorrow.
It could be 4 games. It could be 4 minutes.
Just trying to understand the strict rules of the theorem, if there are.
The rules are not strict.
Okay.
But in general,
it's a self-serving theorem. If we're
right.
Well, but it's also like it's just like common sense. You don't really want to judge a player, especially a young player, based upon 1 year in a new country, in a new league, in a new culture, and all the stuff that comes with it. So, give a guy at least 18 months before you decide whether or not he's trash.
What do you think of the sub from NYCFC?
They're gonna settle for 3-1 in my mind.
Yeah,
it's a defensive sub, shore up the midfield.
Does that seem like a good idea? You certainly don't want to go at the moment. It does. Yeah, you certainly
the way this is going.
Yeah, like it could be 5-1 already over the last 10 minutes. I think Doyle is just like praying to keep it at 3-1 because then they have a chance when they go back to their ancestral home of New Jersey.
It does feel like there's another goal in this for the Sounders in this. So I think, trying to make some changes just to kind of hang on at this point. And then, if you get lucky and Tati finds a moment, you take it. But I don't think they're going to really push it too far here. I also think you'll probably see pretty soon Rui Diaz come off, right?
Yeah, you would think so. Although with no game this weekend, maybe they use it as an opportunity to get him 90. I don't know. Figure that they have a full week to let him recover. I don't know. I'm sure they have a very detailed progression plan with him. If there was any team in MLS that I would look at and say, well, they've got like mounds and mounds of data that they're using to make these decisions on like load and where his body is, it's the Sounders.
It looks good here.
It's just NYCFC just can't even get a foot on the ball.
No. Yeah. It's all one way.
It's like clearance out, 3 passes, crossing situation. 2-man game with Tati and Tyus Magno, and then like Tati's just trying to get a foul. Which that's what they need right now. They need somebody to slow it down.
Seattle doing this without 2 starters on their back line in Yamar Gomez Andrade and Nuhu, who's out with yellow card suspension. It's the team they're able to put together, man. It's really impressive.
Is it time to get the Jackson Reagan hype in, or
no?
No, I don't think he's been great tonight, to be honest with you.
Let's take a look at the penalty just to, hit our trunk quota. Just to see, just for folks who had missed it. Here's the replay of it. It's pretty grainy.
I was gonna say I couldn't see it on the on like the HD version.
I feel like this is like 1994. I'm like, what?
I see a yellow shirt.
Yeah,
it looks like the referee.
How did we watch sports back in the day? Like how did we even know what was happening? It was all just a guessing game.
Well, there was less of this. It's just like everything was a rumor. Instant replay would be a tougher show to do.
It would be a better show. Just a more fun show. Like, hey, take a guess, Charlie. What do you see here? Like, I got a couple pixels in the left side of the screen here. That looks to me like
the pixels.
That's an arm.
It's a nice ball.
Ooh. Got some Nuhu fans in the chat right now. Who's more likely to get sold this summer? I guess Nuhu's probably a winter sale, right? After the World Cup.
Yeah. Price is going to go up. Although the Salah price tag that might help. Who do they have in their group? Too. They have some big guns. Is it?
I don't even remember.
Got it.
Brazil.
Who?
They have Brazil.
Never heard of them.
Brazil, Serbia, and Switzerland. So
yeah, it's a tough group. It's a real tough group.
Charlie.
NYCFC have actually started pushing forward more since they made a defensive sub. It's a funny game. Taquito's here. Taquito, you want to come say hi?
Taquito.
Charlie's guy.
What's your preferred taquito? Like if you were to like a chicken taquito guy, a beef taquito, like where you
I think beef is kind of the most common, right?
Yeah, more of a
It's like the classic.
I'm usually gonna go with 3 taquitos because one never does it for me. So I'm gonna go carne asada, chicken, carnitas.
You gotta get the variety. See, Charlie knows. You gotta get the variety.
Gotta get it mix it up.
Yeah, classic. Like you eat like 8 of them, and you're still like, I just need 2 more. I just always need more.
All right, here are the changes.
All right, Fesco off.
Madronda on for Morris. And is Ladero off?
Yeah, Ladero for Vargas.
For the god. Obed.
So
Obed the
Rusnak
god
will push forward. Rusnak will push forward to number 10, and I think with Madronda coming on, that'll push Calen Rowe forward to the wing. So Calen Rowe will probably be on the left wing and Madronda at left back.
Okay. And then we also have Zelalem coming in for Parks. So
it's like
for like, yeah.
It actually looks like Madronda might be playing left wing and Rowe stayed at left back. I guess that makes sense, right? Because the defense is playing well. Don't want to change up that line.
Yeah.
And Calen Rowe's a lockdown left back. Let's be honest.
He's been good. I mean,
Charlie.
He does so much for this team, though. I mean, I think I saw something about like the amount of minutes he's played and just the different positions they use him in. Impressive.
Yeah. He's a really good squad player for this.
Yes, he is.
For this group.
He can play a number of different positions. Because he has a high IQ.
Good wine recs. I mean, it's all.
He does have good wine recs.
Knows the local spots because he's a Seattle boy.
I don't think I've ever had a good wine from Washington, though. I got to tell you.
Well, Calen will be able to find it for you.
All right. Here comes
Bruno Montero.
2 strikers.
They got it so
trying to bury him. I mean, why not at this point?
This is a little bit weird, right?
Yeah. So what? Roldan goes in the midfield.
It must be. So it's a 4-4-2.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Montero underneath Bruin a little bit. And it'll be Roldan and Vargas in central midfield. Or maybe Rusnak goes back to central midfield and Roldan stays on the, right midfield, right wing.
It's good for MLS. It's just, I mean, like other fans are not going to agree, but it's good for MLS to have Rui Diaz back.
Oh yeah.
Ladero too, obviously. Looks like Rusnak and Obed.
Yep.
Love that Obed's got the 73. He's got the young kid. I mean, I don't know why Madronda still rocks the 94, but
what is the 73? I was like, is that the year the
number.
Sounders were founded? I think
Yeah,
it was 74 actually. So
no, Anders says 74. He was all over that.
Tested my knowledge there.
Did you ever have to wear a high number, Charlie? You're always.
When I came back to the Revs from Denmark, I wore 99.
Nice. Why?
Chad Barrett was wearing 9.
You couldn't buy it off him?
It was one of those weird, like I came in August.
Yeah.
There's like 2 months of the season left. So I was just like.
But why 99? It just, I know it's 2 9s. You still got to wear the 9, I guess.
Yeah. And Jaime Moreno kind of inspired me because he used to rock the 99.
That's a good one.
All right. Okay. I take it all back.
He will accept that. He will accept
it all back. And now I just feel horrible. I feel horrible for not remembering that Jaime wore 99. So now
you should.
I feel like a complete fraud, to be perfectly honest with you.
I can't believe you forgot that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be kicking me for a while.
Then BWP came in hard with the 99.
Yeah, BWP made it his own. '89th minute, about to be a big 3-1 victory for the Sounders. One away goal.
Oh my God!
Anders really not liking that I just announced the 3-1 victory for them. But he is ahead of us, so he's got to calm it down. Ooh, hit that with some venom.
He did.
I mean, he scored one of those against what was the name of that Costa Rican? Was it? No, it was against Comunicaciones. He scored from like 35 yards on a free kick.
Yeah, that was deep.
4 minutes to go.
Yeah, stoppage time started when Doyle hit the yawn. It's like, all right, well,
yeah,
it's right about midnight on the East Coast. Doyle's cooked. Hey, man, I'm tired too. I'm about to go to bed directly.
Yeah, the Sandman hit me about 30 minutes ago.
I think that's also why CCL nights tend to go where they go. Like, obviously the action on the field and the disappointment's there, but you're also a little sleep deprived and you're like, God, did I just stay up another 30, 45 minutes just to see the Revs lose? Like, are you kidding me? Like, what am I doing with my life here?
I think I did see next Wednesday's at 9 Eastern instead of 10. So
that's nice.
An hour earlier.
That's
really did the denizens of Red Bull Arena a favor with that one.
You gotta get that path train back to the city.
Yeah,
you know?
You got plenty of time. You got happy hour, easy happy hour after work, and then hit the path and get to Harrison in time. Carlos Alayo, I see that you have asked about a certain number. Go look up
Angelino.
Yeah, Angelino. Go NYCFC Angelino, who's now really made a career for himself. Does he still rock it? That's the question. I kind of doubt it.
I don't believe he does anymore.
Yeah,
he's a starting left wing back for RB Leipzig.
Yeah,
he's legit as hell. But when he played in MLS,
those were younger days. Those were, bygone era.
Wow. What? Who's that down? Tati?
Yeah, Obed was reaching around a little bit. He saw how Rui Diaz got that foul, and he's just looking for a front shot. Just looking for it.
It's Santi. Let's take a look.
Oh, it's Santi.
Yeah, ref standing.
Yeah,
right
tries
there.
to pull him, falls down. Yeah, final whistle, folks. We'll do like 5 or 10 minutes here. Just wrap up what we saw, what we think's coming in the next leg. So if you have any questions, comments, we've been monitoring the chat. It's been a good time hearing from all of you tonight. Thanks for joining us to watch the first leg of this Concacaf Champions League semifinal in Seattle. We go to New Jersey next week, and it appears that we will go with a 3-1 advantage for Seattle. That's one away goal for NYCFC, so it certainly has value. If you win 2-0, you advance. And that is certainly not out of the realm of possibility at home. I'd like to remind everyone who wasn't aware that the Kansas Jayhawks are national champions. And I made it till 15 seconds of this match to let you all in on that little secret. Wasn't as ruckus for me as it was last time. Last time I was sprinting to Mass Street, dragging a 30 rack behind me. This time I was yelling as quietly as I could to not wake children. And there's the final whistle. Seattle Sounders 3-1 winners. Goals from Rusnak, Ladero from the PK spot,
Jordan Morris.
And Jordan Morris. You have a single goal for NYCFC. Diego Andrade, that's the away goal. All right, final thoughts, Doyle. What do you think? Big win for the Sounders. They're on the edge of a final.
Yeah, I mean, just a really comprehensive performance from them. They were, I'm not going to say in complete control because there were, obviously the goal for NYCFC and a number other very promising attacks, but it seemed like whenever Seattle was throwing numbers forward, they were creating something dangerous. Didn't always have the sharpness to pull it off, but it was really good soccer from them. And it tended to start deep in midfield and just flow forward. They were especially dangerous up that right side with the Roldan brothers. And if you're Brian Schmetzer and if you're a Sounders fan, even if you're Anders, you're probably really happy with that one. They just look like a significantly better team.
And look, it's just a bonus that they do so with Nico Ladero and Raul Ruiz Diaz in the starting lineup, with Jordan Morris looking about as good as he's looked since return to injury, Charlie. I mean, this is the sort of Sounders team that when they signed Rusnak, when they had these guys coming back, that we looked at and said, I don't know that we've seen an MLS roster like this before. The upside was there. Well, if you capture CCL, that is previously unattained upside in this league. Do they feel like the favorites to you right now in MLS terms, to get the job done? To get the final, sure, but I'm talking about getting the job done once they get there, if they get there.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as everyone's healthy, right? You got to go through the second leg, and I expect New York City FC to be a lot more aggressive. It was almost like a reserved performance tonight. The first 30 minutes, I'd say they had their moments where they did throw numbers forward, but I think for the most part, it was almost, let's just play this game, keep it close. That's kind of the general feeling I got from them. I fully expect them to be much more aggressive in the press, to have the high lines higher up the field, and for Tati Castellanos to be more involved in the run of play.
Is this a disappointment for NYCFC, Calen, or is this just sort of, all right, well, back to the home leg?
I think it is disappointing in the sense that they had the game at 2-1 at halftime. And you think at that point, if you can just keep it at that, a 1-0 win at home sees you through. So I think that extra goal cushion is going to be, it's nice as the team, like going on that, when you win when you win that first leg by 2 goals, it gives you a little bit of a margin for error when you go on the road in the second leg, where you can understand, okay, yeah, if they get an early set piece goal or they get a goal early, you're still in a good spot. Whereas like the tide can really turn on you quickly when a team levels right away or is able to get to you. And then suddenly they carry that momentum at that home field advantage in the second leg. So that second goal is huge for that last penalty was actually a really massive goal for them, big decision. And I think it will help Seattle go into this next match with a little bit more. The other thing is I just think it was really valuable to see Ladero and Ruidiaz get more minutes and come out healthy. Doyle mentioned not having the MLS game as well. That's huge for them. And then being able to kind of, because that's a part of it, is like the scheduling of why teams have struggled. It is challenging. It is difficult, but do it everything you can. I'm glad that the league has made some of these adjustments to be able to put teams in a position to be successful. So, but I think Sounders are definitely the clear favorites to go to the final. And yeah, they look really good.
Sounders off this weekend, as are NYCFC. So both sides off this weekend with a chance to rest, recuperate. You mentioned that the penalty, it was a big decision, went to video review. On video review, penalty was called. Ruidiaz coming through the box, got a touch, looked like he was going to get away from him. And then Thiago Martins, who's had a rough start to his NYCFC career, went through the wickets. Like you can probably imagine. We won't make any more trunk jokes other than that little mention here. But a big decision that changed the course of this game and the course of this series, because that extra goal, as you said, Calen, super valuable. Look ahead for NYCFC and Seattle to the second leg. So we don't see him this weekend, Doyle. What are your sort of final thoughts as you think about what these coaches might be doing or saying to prepare for, a huge moment to become the fifth MLS team to get to a final in the Concacaf Champions League, which they will. One of them will do it. It seems like right now the Sounders are more likely.
Yeah, and I think that Brian Schmetzer is just going to roll the tape back and say, see what we did tonight. Let's do it again a week from now at Red Bull Arena, because the Sounders team, they are like, they have been very good throughout Brian Schmetzer, throughout their entire MLS existence, playing on the counter. But the way they played tonight was something else, and it didn't they were using the ball. They were pulling this NYCFC team apart. So why not stick with that? With Ronnie Dyla, he's just got to figure out, or he's just got to keep his fingers crossed that Maxi Morales can be healthy and can get out there, because I don't think NYCFC really have a chance without him.
And Maxime Chanel, for that matter.
And honestly, it might be time to make that switch, right, Charlie? Thiago Martins, I understand they expect big things from him, but he has not been good through the first month of his MLS career.
It goes back to what has made them so great for so many years. It's that spine. And you had two guys historically who've been a part of that missing, and Max Morales and Maxime Chanot. Didn't work out tonight for NYCFC, but on to the next one. Next Wednesday, April 13th, 9 p.m. Eastern, FS1 2DN. We'll be right back here for a watch-along for that game as well. Pumas has a 2-1 lead on Cruz Azul after the first leg of their semifinal series. So we'll see if Cruz Azul can turn that around as well. And the big surprise of the night comes from John Landry in the chat. Guys, can we take a moment and acknowledge there wasn't a single CCL badge that fell off a shirt in this match? That's huge.
Oh, wow.
Huge for the brand.
Is that a good sign or is that a bad sign?
It could be either. I've never seen it before, so I can't really opine on which one it would be. We'll have to find out. Next Wednesday, we'll see you then, New York City, Seattle. Extra time tomorrow with Charlie and Dave and myself. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and do so. Tune in on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Same thing for MLS Today. We're out of here. Enjoy your night, everybody. MLS After Dark. See ya.